think we're good. Thank you, Lauren. All right, good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Man, this place has grown like crazy. I can't believe all the people here today. All right, so who in this room has goals by a show of hand? I assume everyone here, right? That's why we're here today. We want to reach our highest potential. And I know that's why I'm here today. So when I was looking at different topics for today's speech, I thought I might talk about something easy. Surfing, golf, something that I love that's easy to talk about. But that's not going to stick with you guys. That's not why you guys are here today. So I'm going to go over the good stuff. I'm going to talk about different obstacles that I've had and different challenges that I've overcome in my life, professionally, on my fitness journey, and financially, and why I have never given up. So who here today has struggled professionally? I assume everyone, again, in this room at some point or another. And ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be a medical device rep. I wanted it so bad. I thought it was the coolest career. So what did I need to do to get there? I knew I needed to graduate high school, get a college degree, and get my foot in the door somewhere. Well, I was off to a hot start in high school. I graduated with a 2.02. I was ready to set the world on fire. College wasn't much better. It took me 6.5 years to graduate college with one degree. That's not a master's, PhD. I think I had a PhD in partying, actually, at that point. Now, as I graduated, I was off to the races. I got my first role at an inside sales job at a full-service diagnostic lab. And at this point, I thought it was going to be smooth sailing. I thought it was going to be rainbows and butterflies. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make all this money. I'm in sales, baby. Let's do this. And sure enough, the first 3 months of that role was the hardest 3 months of my life, and it wasn't even close. I was working for a private startup company, and I was lucky enough to have the VP of sales sit directly behind me and listen to all 20 cold calls that I hit in a day. And he was kind enough to play each of them back to me and tell me all the wonderful things that I said correctly and incorrectly, mostly incorrectly. But I went home every night so frustrated, talking to my wife, telling her, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't think I'm going to get through. They kept asking me, they're like, hey, are you sure this is for you? Which they said they were motivating me, but who knows? And at that point, I just knew what my dream was to become a medical device rep, and that I had to push through this time. And so I did not give up. I went in there day after day, and fast forward 2 years later, the whole 2 years that I was there, I hit quota every single month. I never missed it one time because I did not give up. Fast forward 6 years later, and I have my dream job working in medical device sales. Now, my fitness journey hasn't been much easier. It started at 12 years old in the Husky section. And for those of you that don't know, that's for chubbier boys that can't fit into regular clothes, right? So again, off to a hot start. And when I was 18, I was getting ready to go off to college, and I thought, okay, lifting big, heavy weights means I'm going to have these huge muscles, I'm going to be jacked, I'm going to get all the girls in college. That was just not the truth. So by 24, I realized, okay, I really need to implement some nutrition here. So I started counting every calorie all day and would basically starve myself. Nighttime would roll around and I would just binge eat at night. Who in this room has done that at one point or another, right? Trying to follow a diet, and then 7 o'clock rolls around, you pop on Netflix, and yeah, it's all downhill from there. But the weekends would roll around, I would still count my calories, was watching all that, and I'd go party all weekend with my friends. And at 29, I really hit a breaking point because I really wanted to be as fit as possible, especially at 27, I had my son. And so I really analyzed my consumption and my lifestyle and what I was doing wrong. And I realized I had a poor relationship with alcohol, and if I'm serious about my fitness journey, I need to cut out alcohol and find a plan that works for me, a diet plan that works for me, and focus on dieting instead of constantly chasing the fork, right? You're never gonna outrun the fork. So I found a meal plan that worked for me. I chose diet over hours in the gym, and for the last 14 months, I feel the healthiest that I've ever felt. Lastly, my financial struggles were real. Starting out again in sales, I thought I was just gonna be rich. I genuinely thought at 24, however old I was, I thought I was Jordan Belfort, right? I was golfing every weekend. I was partying nonstop. I had bad habits. My wife was shopping like crazy. We were both eating out endlessly. And in a couple years, before we even realized it, like it snuck up on us so quickly, we realized we had a bunch of consumer debt. And so I told my wife, we realized we're literally financially illiterate. And our marriage had been harder than ever. And so again, I reached that same breaking point that I've hit in my professional life and on my health journey again. And so we researched a ton of different budgets that would work for us, found one that worked. We decided to work as a team towards a common goal. And by 2024, we were able to pay off all of our consumer debt and start saving for a home. My goal today is not to tell you guys that I have millions of dollars in the bank, a perfect career, six-pack abs, because I don't. That would be a lie. But I'm here to tell you guys that I'm better than I was yesterday because I've never given up. Thank you.